Good morning and happy Thursday to you. Welcome into My Sweet Home Living, where I love decorating and giving you quick and easy DIYs to create your own home decor, especially if you like things that are primitive, country, rustic. You're in the right place. So welcome on in. And we are cross-streaming over into the one and only amazing Craft Round the Clock group today. I will be live for a short decorating segment and then also another segment following this. We will split the two segments and have another how-to segment following this. So you all stay tuned, stay with me. Today, I'm with you for a while this morning, so come on in. I'm excited to see who's here. Let me know where you're tuning in from. And I'm excited to show you all my regular followers. They have been waiting for me to kind of show off my marketplace find, which you see behind me today. We're in a slightly different setup, and I'm trying to make sure that everything is just straight and you all are going to get a good look at what we're doing today. This is, well, let me back up a little bit. I'm a penny pincher. I like nice things, but I don't like to spend a lot of money for the nice things. And so sometimes that means I have to wait a little bit longer to get what I want. And sometimes I don't always get exactly what I have pictured in my head, but I can modify things to kind of fit my style. So I'm always looking on Marketplace for great bargains. And when you know what your style is, it can take a little while longer to find something that's close to you to grab. And I was lucky enough about a month or so ago to find this amazing cabinet that you see behind me today on Facebook Marketplace. Now, it was about an hour drive for me, but I'm okay with that because the deal that I got on this piece was well worth the drive. And so I'm going to show you kind of the cabinet today and give you kind of the rundown of it so that you can see how my brain thinks when I go to decorate a piece like this. And we'll decorate it for somewhat of a summer theme right now, up like with Americana type things. And then I'll be changing it out soon enough for fall decor because fall is knocking on our door. How are you all? Good morning, Miss Mary. Good morning, Kathleen. Thank you for sprinkling us out. I appreciate that so much. That helps so much, so much. Welcome in, Miss Linda. If you are new here today, please let us know because I have some of the most amazing friends here that would love to welcome you, and so would I. And we are just so glad that you are here. Oh, thank you, Miss Joy. I do love finding things, and when you're a penny pincher and you want to find nice things, you're okay with waiting a little while. Excuse me. And that's why some of the spaces in my home are still empty because I don't like to buy brand new furniture. I don't like to pay the price for things like that. I like to, wait for just the right price on things and then snag them. And so this is a part of my craft room. Good morning, Miss Cindy. Good morning, Dana. This is a part of my craft room, which is when this house plan was designed. This was technically supposed to be an extension of a wraparound sun porch on the back of our house. And the builders, the homeowners then, they decided we have plenty of porch space. And so they wanted to close in this little section. It's off the back of the house. It's off the back of the kitchen and off the back of the master suite. So it's kind of cornered in the back of the house. It's a long, narrow space, which is typical of like a sun porch, right? Back on the back of your house. Think of a screened-in porch area. It's long and slender, and so I'm kind of challenged as far as space goes. I have lots of good space, but when it's arranged in a long, slender fashion, it gets a little tricky. And so I've been looking for furniture pieces that will fit the style of this room without taking up a lot of floor space, if you will. And that's where I always go into vertical. And that was the way in our previous home. We were limited on space, so I always decorate vertical and look for things to build height. And so this cabinet, when I saw this piece on Marketplace, I immediately think, I see it and I'm like, oh good, that's a piece that I think would work. Let me see where it's at. Because when I go to Facebook Marketplace, sometimes, even though I may have my parameters, my search parameters set appropriately, It doesn't always, Pongo, stop. Sorry, my dog's over here crazy, making noises, distracting me. I don't always get shown things that are close and local to me. So I always, before I get my heart set on anything, I look at the location. And so I looked at the location, it was within relatively close distance. And then so I dig a little bit deeper. I go to look at the dimensions. I go to look at the price and things like that. And so I reached out to the seller. She had this listed for $65. Not $165, just $65. And it's an amazing piece. It is solid wood, okay? It was hand built, handcrafted. There's no question about that. She is a reseller, so meaning she buys things and then resells them for profit. I don't know how she made profit on this, unless she got it for free. But I was like, okay. And, but I walked away with it for $60. And, it fit in the back of my van to a T. Like I didn't have an extra inch of length. I can fold down the seats and things like that in my van, and it worked out perfect. So I just kind of want to give you a close-up view of the bare bones of what this cabinet looks like, and then we are going to decorate it. I've kind of already like pre-planned the decor. I've kind of been playing around with it over the last couple of weeks, but it is solid wood. It is solid wood. Now, it's meant to look rustic, primitive, beat up, vintage. You all know my style, right? And so it has like a two-tone color. It's black. I think it looks black to me. However, on the inside of the cabinet, it looks a little bit blue, like a dark navy blue. But it's black, but then it's distressed in lots of different areas, maybe with some antiquing wax or stain or something of that nature. But it has 3 little display areas. They're not little, they're real tall, especially this top one. The shelves are fixed, they're not adjustable, but I'm totally okay with that for $60, right? Good morning, Jenny. Good morning, Teresa. Hey, Peg, Tammy, and Irma. And then below, here's the other thing. I'm always, sorry, my lighting is doing weird things with the camera today. Thank you, Gail. The bottom has storage, which is a big thing for me. Back in a craft space, and if I ever want to choose to use this in a different part of my home, I can definitely do so too, if it's multifunctional, right? That's another selling feature for me when I'm looking for items. I need storage back here. So I have a hose section. This part of my craft room, excuse me, got a tickle in my throat. This part of my craft room is where you see me set up when I'm on camera, as far as like crafting and DIYing videos for you. This little corner of my room is set up for that, okay? And then over on this wall, down in that corner, I have a row of cabinets or drawers, like the plastic drawer units set up. And that's where I store all of my supplies. Now, eventually, if I find a piece that works out perfectly, I would like to get rid of my plastic drawer systems and convert that into something a little bit more, substantial, like a wood, whether it's a dresser or like a low setting, like bookshelf where I can put in baskets or things like that. But for now, we're working with the cabinet drawers, the plastic drawers. Linda, this greenery is from Hobby Lobby. It's one of my very favorite greeneries that I use from Hobby Lobby. Pongo, stop it. It's being a character this morning. Thank you so much for Gail for sprinkling us out. All right, so the bottom was the big selling feature for me as well because it has storage. So I'm going to kind of peek this down. I'm just going to kind of tilt the camera down just a little bit so you all can see the bottom down here, and I'm going to kind of show you what I use to set things up. So right now, I have a printer, I have a label printer, and my scale all within this top shelf, and I can just turn my printer on and print. Everything is in here. All of my ink and everything that I need is on this top shelf. So it like takes it out, those kinds of things, and takes it out of your sight and makes your space look a little bit more cleaner. So that was a huge selling feature for me. And then at the bottom, for right now, that's where I'm storing some of my bigger craft supply type items, like my plaster of Paris buckets and my big boxes of like air dry clay and things like that. So things that are big and bulky that I don't fit in my plastic drawers, those are going on down at the bottom. And so amazing space. There are some holes that are cut in the back of the cabinet where I can feed the power cords through, which is what you see right over here. And I do hide those after I get everything decorated. I have things that set at each corner to hide the cords. Gotta hide the cords, right? The mechanics of everything are all hidden when it's all said and done. So, and that's why I loved that feature. And so if I ever use this in another part of my home, I could use it for storing dishes, you know, bakeware, pots and pans, whatever, right? Linens. I could even use this as a display piece in my living room if I wanted to. Pack that for blankets or photos. Photo storage is usually a big thing that we're always looking for. Back when we printed photos, yes. I do have lots of photos that I like to kind of store and keep organized. That would be an amazing place for something like that. But this cabinet, it's a little wonky. The door's a little wonky, but I'm okay with that. It slides open and closed very easily. It doesn't quite shut all the way flush at the top, but it does at the bottom. And I'm fine with that. And then it just has a little, I don't know what you want to call that, a little twisty closer. How do you like that for technical terms? Good morning, Miss Cindy. How are you, Deanie? So here we go. So we have 3, technically 4 if you count the top, surfaces to decorate with. And then let's get this tilted back up so we don't tilt the whole camera tripod down. We have lots of decorating space that we can work with. So I don't really have all of my decorating pieces unpacked, I don't think. I think I still have some boxes that I have yet to uncover and pull things out of. So I have just gone through my home and pulled out things that maybe had been stuffed in a corner that I wasn't really satisfied with where they were, and kind of pulled them all together. A wood latch, thank you, Miss Joy. Tons of photos. Oh, they will want them one day. They don't discount them now. Just because they're not interested in them now doesn't mean they won't be later, right? Black is Esmeralda. I think so too. In my home, I use lots of blacks, creams, and browns. And I don't have a set color theme for any type of space usually. I just anchor it with good blacks, browns, and creams, and then everything else just kind of ties in and you can change it out. The greenery is from Hobby Lobby, yes. And I just have that kind of draped across the top. And at some point I might intertwine some really small rice lights is what they're called, rice lights, in with that. They're really small little teeny bulbs. They're not fairy lights, but they're a little bit bigger than fairy lights, and they're easier to work with. I might have a strand of them. Let me see if I can grab it and show you. I think I had an extra strand over here, yeah, as backup. And I get these on Amazon. This strand is probably a little too long. And my camera is going to be backwards. I don't know how that happened. Is that working? I guess I accidentally hit a button. Let me know if I'm back on. That is so weird. Am I back now? Let me know if you can hear me now. Still? Am I muted still, or is it just a delay? Okay, I am back, you said? Okay, good. Okay, good. Thank you so much. I thought maybe I kinked the cord to my mic or something. You never know these days. Okay, so these are the teeny lights. So I must have hit the mute button instead of, there we go. Hit the mute button instead of the flip the camera button. These are called teeny lights. And I love using them in my primitive decorating. And I'm saving this strand for around my front door because we're going to be decorating around my front door pretty soon for fall. And I'm wanting to save this strand for those. So I need to order a few more strands, shorter ones to go around the top of the cabinet. I love lighting. I just do. I love extra touches of lighting when it comes to primitive decorating. And you'll see here in a little bit how many little candle lights I put on this cabinet. But I use something like this. I use a little timer, okay? This is something that I can plug into the wall, and then I can plug an extension cord into each end and light up this whole cabinet and have it programmed to come on at a certain time and go off at a certain time. Now, I like to leave little lights on all night long, honestly. If it's just a little bitty candle light bulb, a 2 or 3 watt bulb, I'm fine with it and leave it plugged in all night. Like this little tin light that you'll see behind me here in a minute. But you look for something like that. The greenery is called Decorator Garland. It usually does go on sale whenever they have their garlands and I think wreaths. Wreaths and garlands is usually the week that they go on sale, either for 40 or 50% off. Teresa, I get the string lights on Amazon. Just search for teeny lights, and they are a brown cord. Let's see. There you go. This side. Teeny bulb string lights. All right. Now, they're not cheap like regular Christmas light strands, but they're a little bit pricier. But sometimes there are different sellers on Amazon that will have different prices. So kind of shop around a little bit, and if you find them somewhere else other than Amazon, check them out. But I love them. They're really small, and so they put off a light, but they're not like overpowering like sometimes Christmas light strands. So there's how teeny the little bulb is. I don't know if that'll focus or not on that little bitty teeny tiny bulb. And so they don't twinkle, but they're small enough to give you sort of a little slow shimmer effect, if you will. All right, let's move on. Now, let's just say, if you followed me for a while, no, I don't do battery operated lights, Mary, except for a few little candle lights. I usually do all electric because I use the timer to turn them on and off for me, and I don't like changing out batteries. So that's why I use the electric ones more than anything. You have those, Jillian? Awesome. They're amazing. So most of the items that I'm going to be using today to decorate this cabinet are items that we have made here together here at My Sweet Home Living. You all have watched. You all have probably made some of these items yourself. And then some of the items may be pieces that I have purchased from some of my favorite handmade artists and designers or shops across the U.S. A lot of those are ones that we feature during our Vintage and Thrifted Market Day, which the next one's coming up in September. So stay tuned for that, September 14th. All right. So at the top, I really haven't done much yet because honestly, I haven't gotten my step stool out to reach the top. Other than I've just put that little piece of garland at the top and then put a little bitty bushel basket up there, which probably won't stay. It's a little too bright for me. I got to kind of dull it down a little bit. But for now, it's stuck up there. And what I think I was planning on doing was taking my primitive drum and putting it up there as well. Because this is a little bit bigger. I think it would work right here on the top right. But I just kind of wanted to show you that was my thinking. But I'm a little vertically challenged, so I got to have a step stool. Most of the time I forget batteries and mess the candle up. Well, Paula, here's the thing. When I decorate, I want it to be like a decorate it and forget it kind of thing. I don't want to have to continually change out batteries. Or what if, I let the batteries die and then I have company, I have people over and yet my little sparkle candle lights aren't working. I'm just thinking, I just use the electric plug-in ones and they're just easier that way to me. So let's start on this little top shelf right here. There is a little corner or a little hole. You see that right here, a little hole that is punched out in the back. It's not punched, it's been drilled out. And that's where, thank you, Teresa. You remember when we made the drum? That's where you can run power cords. So if you plug in lights, there's lots of little holes. I really think this cabinet may have been used for like a little shop, or something like that, because they definitely had their P's and Q's in order here, because they have lots of little holes for little candlelight. So this cabinet, I will also say, is very narrow. I meant to measure it before we went live, but this is probably only, let's see, this might be 8 inches, might be 8 inches deep. So it's very shallow. So it has a low profile when you're looking at it from the side. And so it doesn't take up a whole lot of floor space. It gives me the vertical ones. Love the timers. Yes, use the timer bulbs. You are so right. Let's go to the top. And I kind of already had some items set up that I have been using for the top. And I'm kind of sticking with them. First item that we're going to be using, we have made these little primitive, there we go, little faux spice tins. I love these things. And these are, you know, once again, not with any particular color theme other than just primitive colors in general, which are just dingied up, grungied up earth colors, really. Okay. And so I'm going to be using this in this sort of back corner. But you can see this top shelf is a lot taller than the others. So I've got to really think about how I'm going to elevate and stair step my items. And so when I put that in there, it's going to be too short. So I have a candle, a candle jar that has just a little bit of wax left in it, but I love it. Still smells amazing, but I'm going to use this as a riser and it's going to be hidden. So you're not even going to see this. Okay. So all I'm going to do, whatever works for you. Okay. Whatever you can get your hands on. And I'm going to raise that up in that little corner right there. Now I might tuck it in a little bit more in the corner, but for now, if I tuck it back there, you all won't be able to see it from your angle. But for now, we'll leave it there. Now, let's grab a couple more pieces that I want to show you. And this is another item that we have created on a live. It's been a year or so ago. Okay. This is our little egg basket, our little primitive egg basket. And then I have one of those faux primitive flicker bulbs in the center there. And I will tell you that I love these flicker bulbs. I love the effect that they give, but the batteries do not last very long. They just take one AAA battery. It is a timer, so it does come on and go off at, you know, certain time increments, but it doesn't last long. So I have a love-hate relationship with that candle. I love the look and I love the flickering effect that it gives when all the lights are down, in this room. But this is a Velveeta cheese box that we converted. We converted into a little, egg nesting box. So you all know I'm all about the chickens around here. So we got to have eggs and we got to have chickens here and there. It's a McCall's. Oh yes, I love McCall's candles, Victoria. Yes, ma'am. I love them. All right. So we're going to turn this and stick it right here and look what happened. We hid that candle jar, so we don't even know that that candle jar is back there. And then I have, and this is not pewter, but it's faux pewter for me. It's just a silver platter, kind of has a little bit of a primitive flair to it. These little cross, maybe little wheat strands. I don't know. It's just something that I have carried around and used here, there, and everywhere. It's never had a really good, safe spot. Thank you for following. I don't know who did that. If you are not a follower, you can, or to check to make sure that you are following and get notifications, you can type in !notify. And that will just help you double check that you're still here. Hey, Miss Buttons. Hey, Linda and Mary Lou. Thank you. This was from excuse me. This is from Goodwill. I think I paid maybe like $2 or $3 for it. I just use it to give a little extra vertical interest back here in the back. And then, I like the color of that black. See that little black on the top, you know, on that little embellishment on that tray, kind of ties in with the black of the cabinet. So right there, we have 3 little heights. We have a tall, a medium, and a short. And I love doing those stair steps when I put things together. So keep that in mind. If you are vignette challenged, think of little stairs. Okay. Perfect. Type that in. Make sure. See, whoever typed that one in, you were not getting notifications, because now it says you'll now get notifications. You'll now get notifications. So if you type that in and it says and you already follow and get notifications, it will tell you already received notifications. So you know how Facebook is. We just never know. We always like to be safe. And if you want to extra backup, make sure you're on my Telegram channel. Okay? All right. So let's move over to this corner and let's do some more stair stepping. Not literal exercise stair steps, but you know what I mean. You know what I didn't do? I didn't make sure that we were shared over to the Craft on the Clock group. Ah, goodness gracious. Okay. Now, you all know how I love saving my jars. Let me make sure. The next little corner, we are going to use some jars. Okay. And some books. And another little candle that I forgot to grab batteries for. And I'm going to tell you what I love about these candles here in just a minute. No, I don't think I do have the batteries here. Okay. In this corner, I just have some thrifted old books. This is another good trick where you can elevate and use these as risers. Okay. I love the color because they're kind of neutral and primitive, grungy up already. And I've used these in lots of different spaces, but for now, I'm going to kind of angle those right there in the corner because I'm going to need some height right there in that corner. And you all know we made this on live way back. Now, am I right? No. Yes, I am. Flipped for you all. Okay. This is a lemonade drink mix container from the grocery. We converted this with a label and some primitive style elements and turned this into an amazing piece of decorating. And you can see here, I have not used hardly anything as far as money goes when it comes to decorating this. Okay, awesome. Okay, thank you, Paula. I just shared myself over. I forgot. I got excited and got to talking and forgot to share myself. So that is going to go right here. All right. Those little spice boxes, those were like $1 a piece when I created those. All I did was just add the paint and the little fabric labels, and it was so inexpensive. And like I said, this little thing was a Velveeta cheese box, right? So if you like this style, you can make your own decor without spending hardly anything. So, that's a good tip, I think, anyway. So now I've got some height right there in that corner. Now I need to kind of stair step my way down, which I'm going to use. This is another good thing you can create. When I do Christmas type jars, on the other side, I always just put an everyday label on them so that all I got to do is just spin them around when it comes time to Christmas or spin them back around for every day. And this one is going to go right here next to my cornmeal. I'm so sorry. I'm going to slide that over a little bit because I want you all to be able to see. I'm not going to tuck it way back in the corner yet. Now, you can see I'm using some of the same colors, repeating colors in this cabinet, which is another good technique to use to making things look good together. I have repeating cream colors with the jar and the box, and I have repeating greens and browns and I like this creamy coffee color with the eggs and the cheesecloth. And then I even have repeating blacks, the black of the check, the black of some of those accents on the spices and on the jars as well have little accents of black. So you've got lots of those same repeating color families within one shelf, and that helps it look more cohesive as well. And then two more things actually. No, I think I'm going to use this on the second shelf since I already do have a little candlelight here. One more little grunged jar. And I like to kind of work in sets of 3s sometimes. Odd numbers sometimes are more pleasing to the eye. Never let a good surface go undecorated. That's right, Francis. And decorate it until you can't fit anything else into the tiniest inch. And I do still have some space in this cabinet, and intentionally so, because I know there are still things that I have yet to unpack after we've moved that I know I'm going to pull out, and I'm going to think, oh, that would look so cute on that cabinet. I know exactly where to put it. So I am leaving a little bit of extra space, playing space, decorating space, if you will, for those types of items later. And you can change some of these out. I love everything that I make to put on here. And so it's like so hard for me to decide sometimes. I'm like, I can't put that away. I can't. So I will squeeze every little inch of decorating space out of a cabinet. So happy that you all are here this morning, by the way. My chat bot is chimed in, and it makes my heart. It's so happy that you're here. It really does. Okay. Top shelf is done for now. What do you think? Bare shelf is decorated now. Let's move to the second shelf right here. Now, this one is probably our shortest in height. So my items here are going to be a little bit smaller scaled, or not quite stacked so high. Hey, Miss Kathy, how are you, friend? Let me grab some of the pieces. Oh my goodness, I might have to grab a drink while I'm at it. Okay, I'm gonna load up my hands here because I got lots of goodies to go on this shelf. And some of these are things that we have made here on My Sweet Home Living's page. And while some are items that I have purchased from some fabulous shop sellers. Thank you, Miss Deborah. Okay. This right here is just my space to pile stuff up for a minute. Okay. Not only do I like creating things that look vintage, I like collecting things that are vintage. Well, Michelle, I'm so glad you're here. What a treat. I love having you here for the first time on a live. I like collecting like vintage, like memorabilia, whether it's vintage postcards or anything that kind of makes me feel like I'm stepping back into time. I like to kind of include those in my home decor when I can. I don't like to pay a lot of money for them, so cheaper the better. But these vintage bingo cards are so cool. They are so cool. So I just am propping that up on a little display piece, and I'm tucking that into this little corner back here. I don't want it to be like screaming like here I am. It's just a cool little added touch. Good morning, Miss Patricia. Y'all are in for some decorating. You all let me, excuse me while I grab my water real quick. Sometimes when I get to talking, I get a tickle in my throat, and it's like, oh, game over. So I want to kind of get ahead of that. All right. These little items are so cute, and they have the touch of navies and blacks and creams that I use in lots of areas in my dining room and kitchen. So these are from my friend Dorothy from Timeless Treasures, and she is one of our sellers that we usually have in the Vintage and Thrifted Market Day. So she will be probably with us again this time on September 14th when we have her and many other sellers. And so be looking. She makes all of her items by hand. Her and her granddaughter work together to create the most adorable items. And so it's just a little touch of something cozy and warm. This little pillow, she has hand stitched and stitched that onto a little throw pillow tuck. And then this little bear, how cute is that? I just tied a little coffee stained piece of, not cheesecloth, muslin fabric on that. And I think it's going to coordinate super cute right there in the corner. How cute is that? I want to be able to see the words. I kind of angle my pillow in the corner. You can see the words from this angle, but you might not be able to see it from your angle. Thank you, Miss Mary. Hey, Sorella. Okay, next things. Oh, yes. Now, this is something that we have created. We created this just a couple weeks ago, and it kind of was a spin-off of these little vintage spice tins. These are little vintage-inspired sewing notion, little, I don't know what you want to call them, little, they're not tins, obviously. They're little paper mache boxes that I have covered in fabric and made little fabric labels for. Pins, tacks, and buttons. And I love these colors because these, you'll see here in a minute. Some of you have seen me talk about this. You love her items too, Dana. She is so talented and just the sweetest can be. And I think that kind of fits perfectly with that little sewing notions corner of the handmade bear and the handmade hand-stitched pillow with those little sewing notion pieces. I love that. Okay. Now, this, we're playing with the whole silver theme. I like to carry elements throughout. I have a vintage, I don't know which one I call this, just a decor piece. This was given to me and my husband when we were married as a wedding, bridal shower gift, right? I want to say my mother-in-law may have given this to us. But it's just a real sweet, kind of primitive style. It kind of coordinates with my silver and the black as well. It's just a touch of classic farmhouse, country home, right? You bought the paper mache boxes. You can do so many things with those, Lisa. I have 3 more waiting for me and I can't wait to use them. I'm going to, I think maybe do a fall set of those as well. So I'm going to prop that right up in the center. Right there. I don't know. I might move these and set that with the bear. I don't know. We'll see. We will kind of play around as we go. And I do have some other little random little rusty pieces that I need to keep within hand's reach. These are some more little sewing notions. These are bigger type rusty pins that aren't small enough to fit in my little little containers that I made, and some little rusty springs. All I'm doing, this is I call this a primitive farmhouse grubby paint finish, and I'm just going to set that right there. I don't know if it'll stay there, but for now, it kind of works. I might set it over here. Who knows? We'll see. Okay, what else did I have on that? So that's it, other than this little thing right here, which we made this out of live back in the spring. These were a set of wooden eggs, and they were sold around Easter time. A little set of 6, and they had just a real basic wood natural tone to them, and the carton was just plain cardboard, like nothing fancy. And all we did was give them a coat of some chalk paint and a little dusting of cinnamon with a couple of sprigs of dried sweet Annie and Excelsior tucked in, and that right away gives you something super inexpensive. I think this was like $3 and I just painted it and made it to match my style. So I just kind of like tucking these little eggs in here and there, because you all know I'm a big crazy chicken lady now. I don't know about this little jar. For right now, I'm going to set it right there. Because I have these other, oh yes, I got some other things over here I about forgot about. I knew that shelf didn't look quite like I had it before. Vintage pieces like this cheese grater. I love using these, and a lot of times I love sticking a little strand of mini lights inside these so that they light up. I have not done that yet with this one, but it's time's coming. I'm going to be jazzing it up. You remember making, oh good. You remember us making the little eggs? And I just like tucking this over in this little corner. A lot of times I'll stick some Sweet Annie in the top of that as well to kind of give it a little touch of softness, if you will. And it's another silver element that kind of, you see the coordinating colors and the themes that are keep carrying through. Thank you, Ms. Darlia, for sprinkling us out. Some of these I get some of those styrofoam balls and create some little rag balls. These were something that were made during primitive times. A lot of times people, ladies, would take their fabric strips or scraps and wind them around and make fabric balls. They were really a thing. And so I have made a bunch of these a few years ago, and I just tuck them into, like, if I have a little corner that's empty, I'll either fill it with some greenery or fill it with a rag ball. And so I had tucked this in, I think maybe right there. I don't remember for sure, but it's working for now. It just kind of rounds out that little area right there. Ooh, this way. You got tall, and then you just step, I'm backwards, stepping down, and then down to the bottom. You will see how those little levels really make your eye happy. Everything looks great. May I ask where you've got your dried sweet Annie? The only place I get it is on Etsy. There are several shop sellers on Etsy that will have dried sweet Annie. Okay. Just make sure that when you're looking that you're not buying seeds, because sometimes they will use a picture of it, what it looks like, but they'll be just for seeds. You don't want that. You want actual cut dried sweet Annie. Okay. And there are usually some great sellers on there. They may be out of stock right now. It'll be close to harvest time pretty soon for those, for dried sweet Annie. So if you don't see any available now, look back in another like a month or two and you'll see sellers that have been able to restock their supply. Yes, preserved sweet Annie is on Etsy. Now, this is a little prairie doll that I also purchased from one of our vintage and thrifted market day sellers. And you'll have to forgive me. I have forgotten who I grabbed this from. I should write it on a little tag or something each time. But it's one of our regular sellers I know that we usually have on Vintage and Thrifted Market Day. It's just a sweet little prairie doll. She does have facial features, but they're very subtle. And it's just a nice, sweet little primitive touch, I think. And it ties in more of that creamy color that I love. And I think her dress, the dress that she has on, has a little bit of brown with a little bit of like a burnt umber terracotta look. And I think she'll fit perfectly for spring as well. So we're finished with that shelf and we packed it tight. Okay. Other than this little candle. These, you know, I told you I love that flicker flame candle, right? If I could get these candles with that flicker flame, I would be the happiest girl in the world. If I could just marry these two candles together, that would be the perfect style for me. This has been my all-time favorite timer candle, okay? But it does flicker, but the flame doesn't move. But the lifetime of the battery life on these is absolutely amazing. So this is one candle that I don't mind using that is battery operated. Now I need to replace the batteries in this one, but, it has a timer feature. So it comes on at the same time that you turn it on each day. Perfect, Lisa. Perfect. I get these from, there's a variety of different sellers. There are some sellers on Etsy. There are some sellers on Amazon. A lot of our shop sellers that are in the Vintage and Thrifted Market Day sales, they will have these as well. Okay. Right off the top of my head, someone that you could go to and order from her website is Crystal from Little Village Primitives. And I hope I didn't get her name mixed up. I think her name is Crystal. I have so many shops and names in my head. But you can go to Little Village Primitives, lvprims.com. And I believe she has these on her website and they are available in lots of different colors. And I have another color of these as well. I have brown, I have cream. Yes, Little Village Primitives is one that I know you use. Yes. Thank you, Victoria. Little Village Primitives. And she does have a Facebook page, but her website is amazing. You can go and shop on her website. She does have an actual store in Pennsylvania. I think she's in Erie, Pennsylvania. But she has amazing items and that's one of the places that I get these, I know. So, and her prices are very reasonable as well. So sometimes I have something to stick them in. Sometimes I don't, but this is a little metal, candle holder and I'm just going to kind of tuck that. I don't know. Where do we need it? Somewhere. I'm going to stick it right there for now. I may move that later, but for now, that's where it's going. Yes, Joanne, her shop is absolutely beautiful. Yes, you get your candles at an Amish shop. Perfect, Mary. Okay, so let's move to the bottom shelf, and I'll move this out of the way for now. This bottom shelf, I'm I'm kind of filling it in too with lots of things that we have created. First things up, let me grab this light right here. I have these cords in the back, and you all know I'm going to set these all up on a timer. But this is our, and I don't know if I can pull the cord up far enough to get it. That's as close as I'm going to get it. This is our apple jar lamp, made from a, sure enough, pickle jar. We repurposed the pickle jar, covered it with, used tea bag filter papers, okay, put a strand of lights in there, and then we used coffee stained fabric to cut out an apple, make the little label and the little ties. And you guys, it's so easy to create, you won't believe it. That's just a little, like a little nightlight bulb, okay. This is made from an aluminum foil bulb. I kind of created and DIY'd my own little makeshift candle light. Okay. And then these shades I grab on Amazon. Okay. They have one of those little clip-on shades. This is perfect because it'll fit any style lamp you make, with any kind of bulb almost within certain sizes, but it will fit on this. And I have also put it on different lights, throughout the year too, depending on which light I want to use. Now, this is a little tall to put right underneath there, but that's okay. I kind of like to extend things out because I have a wider surface here on the top. So I just kind of pull it out and push it over to the side a little bit. And the colors on this also coordinate with the colors that I put on my little Sewing Notion boxes. And so if I wanted to, I could set those together. And they coordinate so cute together. Well, you can't see it when I stand in front of it, can you? There you go. So that is, there we go. Oh, that's better. Didn't know I can do that. How about that? There we go. Let's tilt it this way a little bit. What is the metal lampshade called? Brenda, I searched for punched tin lampshade. Okay. There will be a ton of them that will come up. You just have to look at the sizing. And I don't remember what size this one was. I can't remember for sure what size it is. You have a red and black lampshade. Yes. Ellisburg. Okay. Thank you, Eleanor. Thank you. That's right. Now that you say that, that's clicking in my brain. So, but those look so cute together. But for now, I kind of like it a little splash of color right up here in this little corner. But it ties through all the way around. Okay, now this is just a candle light box. You guys, I've had this light. It was in my laundry room in my previous home. I had it hanging on a wall, like on a peg shelf above my washer and dryer. But I have yet to decorate my laundry room here. I don't even know if I will decorate my laundry room for quite some time because I have so many other spaces that need attention first. So the laundry room is closed off. Nobody sees it. So, but me most of the time. So it's kind of out of sight, out of mind for a long time. So I took this candlelight box and I thought, how perfect would that be to stick in this dark corner of this shelf? Because without this, you'll see it's kind of dark back in there. Not only, I mean, up here it's brighter because the light hits it a little bit better, but down here I just needed a touch of brightness. And so that's why I thought I'll just stick that right in that little corner and it brightens it up. And you see, even though it's not the same color, like the cream color, this color still ties in with lots of the other color tones that I've used throughout the shelf already. Thank you, Miss Dana. Vintage tapered candles, flameless. Okay. I'll have to look at those to see if they're the same. But if you've looked at those and think they are, that's great. Thanks for sharing. You can find them in lots of different places, but sometimes they are slightly different. They are slightly different. Okay. And then the cord stretches across. There is a little hole right here that I can feed the cords through. And it's showing right now, but it won't show in the end. Okay. Okay. What else did I stack in the bottom down there? All right. Some of the things that we have used, or that I have used to decorate, I think I will decorate with anyway for now. Another vintage grater. I'm just going to kind of prop this up in the back. kind of give us a little bit of vertical look right there in the center. And it also ties in, guess what? It ties in another silver feature. We got silver on every shelf. And then this is from my friend Joanne from Grace and Glory Primitives. She also makes some beautiful handmade items, and she is another one of our vintage and thrifted market day sellers. So if anything, hopefully I give you inspiration today, but if not, if you want to find some of these items for your own home decor, you will need to tune in to our vintage and thrifted market day on September 14th. So many of these items have come from our sellers that are on there, and you can see how you can use them in your home. Because a lot of times when the sellers are selling, you know, maybe one item here, one item there, you're thinking, I love that, but really, where would I put that in my home? But when you see how you can put things together, it really does kind of change your kind of mindset on what things are going to look like. So really what I did with this, and I don't know if I'll keep it this way, I would kind of like to put a little, maybe like a little Velcro hanger and kind of hang it on the back wall of this cabinet. I don't know. But for now, I've just kind of been propping it up there on the corner of that shelf and letting it go from there. Because I like the way the light shines on it from that little candle light there. Okay. Next thing we have made together that we're using today is our little mama hen bowl. Oh goodness, you guys, this chicken, this little hen was absolutely adorable, stole my heart. And I think this was from my friend April at Curly Dimples Trading Company. I think. But she had these in different colors, but I loved the black, and I had to have a little splash of color to kind of make her stand out and coordinate. So I tied a little strip of some coffee stained cheesecloth, or not cheesecloth, muslin. Is that cheesecloth or muslin? Nope, I think that is muslin. It's just a loose weave. It's not cheesecloth. Anyway, you get the gist. Tucked it in with some coffee stained Excelsior at the bottom and put in 3 little eggs for her. The heart is missing. I had a little heart. We made this around Mother's Day because I was giving you an idea for Mother's Day that was kind of not, you know, something a little outside of the box. And I made a little clay heart that I usually like to prop up there, but it's not staying right now. It was just staying so perfectly right there. And I was going to put the word mom on that little heart. And I don't want it attached permanently to her. It's going to fuss with me. I'm not going to fuss with it back. But, and I have 3 little eggs in here because I have 3 kids. And I just thought that was kind of like a perfect little Mother's Day little tribute without being like, you know, typical Mother's Day fashion. And I did have a little candle tucked in behind her, but I have moved that candle in a different spot. But here, I can stick it right back in there. So if you wanted to use this in a different spot, gosh, that candle's crooked. If you wanted to use this in a different spot where you don't already have much candle light, woohoo, there you go. It's adorable. So I like this kind of tucked in this little corner back here because it hides my cord. And I have a touch of chicken on every shelf now. A touch of eggs up here. We have some eggs down here. And then, of course, we have Mama Hen sitting down there on her nest at the bottom. Oh, that candle it's on, but it's very faint. Okay. Next items that we have created here together. Once again, I still have some of my Americana things out right now. Thank you, Miss Francis. Because I don't get rid of my Americana stuff until like, sometimes I can make it all the way through August. Sometimes I'm like, oh, I'm itching for fall too bad. I got to change it. But I usually try to keep it out at least through mid-August before I start changing over to fall. It really kind of depends on the weather every year and my mood, right? So I'm going to pull out some of these other things that we have created. This is just a scrap wood block with a printable coffee grunged print of Old Man George on here. And I just kind of like tucking that in right here. And then this is another element that I have shown you all before on a live. I grunge up the regular store-bought U.S. flags. Okay, now you could take this any way you want to go. If you want to make your own flags, you could tuck it in. For Christmas, you could tuck in some greenery branches, whatever you want to do. And take some vintage oil funnels. Okay, vintage funnels. Do you, Becca? I would like doing that too, honestly. Except, I don't know, fall and Christmas, I would have to keep it, change it out. But I love Americana look, all year round, honestly. Especially in a primitive or colonial style home where you can get away with that. I love it. And I just kind of like hanging this over to the side a little bit. Let's do a little bit of rearranging here. And I like to see all 3 flags over there on the corner there. Thank you, Miss Laurie. You ordered some Sweet Annie from Etsy. Way to go, Heather. Awesome. And I'll show you how I store my Sweet Annie here in just a little bit. We're going to go the full time. I don't even know if we'll do a craft today. This is fun. Are you all enjoying this? I know many of you have been waiting for this. Okay. Let's see. We got a couple more things here. So, back a couple of years ago, I don't know if you all remember, I did a series on primitive style faux foods. Y'all remember that? And I still do some of these. And I am going to be doing kind of a revisit of that series here pretty soon because I'm needing some new pieces. But we made some breakfast items, and I'm trying to make sure I have everything flipped over right before I show you all this one. This was, and this has been sitting out for a couple of years. So this is our pancakes. Our vintage pancakes, or not vintage, but our faux pancakes. Blueberry pancakes with little slices of bananas and a couple of slices of butter on top. And so I'm just sticking this at the bottom because I need just something else to kind of extend out here with a little, I know, Miss Laura. Well, guess what? Guess what I got on Facebook Marketplace? Yes, off of Facebook Marketplace yesterday. Hold on, let me show you. Give me just a second because I don't want to knock over everything. Are y'all ready to see what I got on Marketplace yesterday? Yes, I broke down and got a really good deal on a practically brand new sewing machine. Now, I've had a sewing machine in the past. It was older, okay, which I have no problem with older sewing machines, but it was having some mechanical issues, and when we moved, it was one of the things that got tossed. It had been sitting in the garage, and it was just because I could never get it operating correctly, and I really think it needed some service, but anyway, I got that one. I got it for $60, and I think it sells new for around $100. It's just a very simple and basic sewing machine, which is exactly what I need for things like that. So we're going to be doing some sewing projects, primitive style projects with that pretty soon. So I have this vintage tobacco cloth, which is from my friend Esmeralda at Love It's Garden, which is another one of our vintage and thrifted market day sellers. Are y'all catching the theme here? Vintage and thrifted market day and craft day is an amazing event that you guys can't miss. I mean, I'm telling you, I plan it 4 times a year, and we really do. If you are really tuned into this kind of style decorating, it is the place to get some of the most amazing items. How did I make the pancakes? These were made with air dry foam clay or Model Magic. I don't remember which. But either one would work. And then made the little faux blueberries. But I like to put the little tobacco cloth underneath of it, sort of like as a dish towel. And then kind of let it drape over and out under the edge right there. Let's see. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to carry that cloth all the way back under my little chicken bowl. Hold on here. There we go. And I just put that right in the center right there. Hey, Melissa. Hi, Miss Shayna. How are you, friend? Love the pancakes and the biscuits. Yes, the biscuits. Yes, I still have the faux biscuits. They're actually in my kitchen area. You all know my little primitive jelly cabinet that I showed you all last year. Their permanent home is in my little jelly cabinet. So I think they're just perfect right there. I don't know. And then here's another item that we have created on a live is using a Starbucks bottle. Starbucks bottle and a printed label. And this is just a buttermilk label. And I just think that looks so cute right here with the pancakes and the eggs and all of that. I might have to rearrange that right there. I don't know how I had that earlier. We're going to leave it right there for now. It's a little off bent. There we go. Okay. And then the last piece of things that we have made that we're going to tuck in here. These are the coffee and cinnamon dough pumpkins. This is my first touch of fall that I'm starting to bring out. And these were actually in my drawer and easy to get through, but I've got them in a vintage little bread bowl dish or a dough bowl, wooden bowl, whatever you want to call it, with some little putka pods. Okay. And these, if you stick your nose up to them, they still smell great, but they'll probably need to be freshened up to kind of release some of that cinnamon smell. But I'm just going to tuck these right here in the corner. And if I had other things ready to tuck in there, I could very easily do so. But this was just something I had quick and easy to grab. And I just tuck it up right there. And I see how we filled in that whole shelf. Most of these with items that we have made together. Marcia, yes, there is a video on these little cinnamon pumpkin cinnamon dough. I can't remember the recipe off the top of my head. If you've watched any of my pantry tart recipe videos, it's using the same dough. I just formed them into a little ball and used a toothpick to press into the ball and make the little lines on the pumpkin. Used a grapevine wreath and cut off some branches and some little twiny pieces there, curly Q things, and made those, and you bake them in the oven and to kind of dry them out. You made the applesauce dough for pumpkins last year. Yes, that would work too. That would work too. And then if you have other things, you know, or little elements that you kind of need, I like to have a little touch of greenery in there. That same greenery vine that you saw at the very top of that, I use one of those and kind of cut it apart. And so I have little strands of this that I will kind of tuck in some empty spots. And that way it kind of ties in that green throughout my cabinet as well. So, let's see, where can we tuck one in? Tuck it in right there, maybe. Hold on. And so we have some of those repeating colors here and there. And so when fall comes around, I will use different color of something to stick in here. I'll use like some fall leaves or something like that, right? Or some dried wheat. Let's see, what else have I used? Dried grasses is also another good one. And just tuck that in so you kind of have a little touch of green, especially in the spring. I like to use that too. So it just kind of gives you a little bit of another little feature. I don't really like that one there. Now that I see it on camera, I don't really like that one there. But you get the idea. And it doesn't have to be everywhere. A lot of times it looks best if you put it in the back behind things, so that your eye doesn't really notice it right away. The greenery, yes, I have used those on my carrots back up. If you've not seen the faux carrot video, oh goodness, I don't have my faux, they're packed away somewhere, but my faux carrots, I used that greenery on and they were absolutely amazing. Okay, so let's decorate the walls beside it. If y'all still hanging out with me, let's keep going. I'm going to show you, I have a blank space over here on each side of this cabinet. Now, this room is, when we moved in, it was already painted a real neutral creamy color, and it's going to stay that way. I'm not going to be painting this room anytime soon because I'm painting practically every other room in the house. So I'm keeping this room as simple as I can as far as paint wise goes, right? So let's go to this side over here. Let me tilt the camera over. Okay. All right, we got this plain wall over here, right? We're going to jazz it up a little bit. Now, I will say that this, like I said, this is my craft room, and this is also Pongo's room. So, in order to have him in this room, which it works out perfect because we have a tile floor over here next to the exit, the patio doors. And so he can come in on the tile and go straight into his little kennel type bed. So his bed usually goes right here at the bottom. And I'm working on a way to disguise that, of course, to make it look pretty. But for now, it's moved out of the way. But the bottom space down here is designated for him. He is my fur baby. So we've got to make sure that he has a space in here as well. So let me show you what we're putting on the wall up here. I do already have screws on the wall for these items. When we moved in, I don't know if y'all can kind of see. Let me see. Right. It's up at the top. Okay. Let me tilt my camera. Plain walls make you nervous, Heather. Right. There you go. So you see that little square spot right there. That is where they had some wall lamps, really outdated wall lamps attached to the walls. And so there was one on each end of this long room. And so I have taken those down, but when I took them down, I noticed that when they repainted this room, they didn't take the lamps off and paint under them. So there you go. You got that space right there. So what do? Well, you try to cover it up if you can. And so that's what I'm doing. So I have just a real primitive style print that ties in with my colors and my theme perfectly. I've had this for, let's see, at least 13 years. But I have seen some of these on Marketplace that are similar in style. And you can get lots of things. You can think outside of the box. Get an empty frame, or get a scrap piece of wood and decoupage, or hand paint something if you want. You can really think outside of the box when it comes to making something to fit your home, your wall space. Okay. This just happened to fit, landscape style perfectly to where it covers up, excuse me, covers up that little spot almost perfectly. All right, maybe right there. I don't have my level in here, so I'm just eyeballing it. Hopefully, hopefully that's level. If not, I'll check it later. But that right there already took that blank wall space up a notch, right? You love it? You have that picture, Wanda? Well, awesome. Okay, now underneath of that, I had to hang that pretty high. A lot of times when I hang things, I like to hang them more closer to my eye level. So if I hang something high, I have to put something under it that is also eye level. Let me grab a drink real quick. So another thing that is really popular with primitive style decorating, let me grab it and I'll show you, are these peg shelves or peg racks or, let me show you. Let me grab it. I'm taking the things off before I show you. This is another little item that I have had forever. I don't know where I grabbed it. It was just at some little random shop or store ages ago. And of course it's black and it has the little distressing that fits right in with my cabinet. It fits in with the frame of my wall piece right there. Thank you, Betty. I'm glad y'all are loving this. I've been waiting to do some home decorating videos with you all, and today just worked out perfectly. And I've got plenty more spaces around here to decorate. It's just like I said, I'm a penny pincher and I watch for bargains. And so it might take me a little while to get all of the pieces together that I want to put into a space. And so once I get all of those items for a space, I'll share it and take you along with me when I decorate. And this is just hangs with two little sawtooth hangers on each end. Now, when I hang this, it wants to hang catty cornered, and I would always have a problem with this wanting to pull out or fall off the wall, right? And also, it would rub up against the wall. So I put in these little vintage, or not vintage. I just saw the word vintage in Shelby's comment. Felt pads, these little adhesive felt pads I put on the back to kind of put a little balance and then a little cushion on the wall. Now, I did make sure that I get this level, and if you hang anything on this shelf with significant weight to it, that you will want to have that anchored in a stud or use a wall anchor to make sure that it is secure. I'm using, I'm so sorry. One of those is anchored in a stud. The other one is not. But the items that I'm putting on here are very lightweight. This is not going to be for hanging coats or anything like that that's super heavy. So what are we going to put on this peg shelf? Let me show you. Let me show you. Things that are really simple that I could get my hands on. I can change this out if I start accumulating more things. But when we moved into this home, we like tripled our square footage. And so my other home where I had decorated to the max and felt really full, when we moved in here, I'm like, oh, I need more things because I didn't have enough things to fill in all the spaces. So it takes time to build up my stash again. So what I have done to kind of decorate this area is to kind of pull little things from here and there without robbing areas bare to kind of to put in here. Okay, we're not frozen. Good. So this is just a little vintage enamelware pot. I put a little twine string holder on the end, and that is going right there on that shelf right there. Now, how many of you can find one of those or something similar that you can just put a hanger on? Whether you have to hot glue it on there, you could do that. Hot glue a little hanger on there, something that you can hang it on one of those pegs. And this, you're going to see how this will give us vertical space, not just width-wise, but also vertical. Oh my goodness, y'all are having problems with freezing. I have perfect signal here. Hopefully it go out and come back in, and maybe it will freshen up. I don't know. You just never know. Facebook has been wonky the last 48 hours for sure. Okay. Now, the other thing that you all can get your hands on, I know you can, is a real simple grapevine wreath, okay? Grapevine wreath, you can find these at yard sales, Goodwill. If you find one at Goodwill and it's really dusty, first smell of it. Make sure the smell is okay for you. Because sometimes you never know where they come from. If the smell is off-putting, like, toss it. Get one that smells neutral, right? Fill your bathtub up with some warm water and set this down in a bathtub of warm water, and it will clean it off for you. That's what I have done lots of times, okay? Now, I'm going to hang this on the very last peg over here. And I kind of like this wreath because it's kind of more, it's shaped not quite as a perfect circle. It's a little more, almost like an egg shape. A little bit. Now, it looks kind of bare like that, right? So, my friend Esmeralda from Lovett's Garden, remember I talked about her a minute ago. She's one of our vintage and thrifted market day sellers. She is all the time having some beautiful fabrics or quilt pieces or tablecloths, linens of all kinds, right? I had purchased this 12 by 12 like quilt piece, okay? A lot of times she will get quilt pieces that are, torn or shredded or just, aren't good as a whole piece. So what she will do, she will cut them up into sections and share those. And so I got one of these little quilted pieces. Now, how farmhouse is, is that? That's perfect. Primitive farmhouse. Now, I'm not talking modern farmhouse, this is true rustic primitive farmhouse. Okay. Kind of style for me. So all I'm doing is I'm just taking that. Let's see, which side do I want? I'm taking this and I'm going to go this way. And if the colors aren't quite your style, you can soak this in coffee stain and stain it. That's probably what I will do eventually. I just haven't done it yet because it's worked for now. All right. And I put it on the bottom of that wreath. You could do the same thing with the dish towel. Lovett's Garden, LUVITTS dash garden. Okay. That's where you can find her. Yeah. And it just takes that space and fills up more of that wall space for me. Okay. Now, let's see here real quick. Let's do this. Now we have done these in the past, are these little primitive style candles, little taper candles, grubby taper candles. And they have the little, wicks that continues over so you can hang these right on. Thank you, Paula. Thank you, Miss Deanie, for putting that in there. That's where Miss Esmeralda is. Lovett's Garden. And if you love this style, you will love everything that she has as well. And I just hang these right on that peg. I need to touch mine up a little bit. But hang these on one of these pegs right here. Where am I going to put these? I think I had them right here. So these kind of blend in with my wreath, but I'm all right with that for now. Like I said, this is just kind of a preliminary decorating phase. I'm so sorry, Brenda. I am so sorry. I don't know what's going on. It's working fine for some and not for others. Okay. Now, I told you that I was going to show you how I store my Sweet Annie. When I'm ready to use it, I just use it as a decorating piece. And this is also kind of like a natural, air freshener, And in fact, a lot of times Sweet Annie was used, back in the, oh goodness, markets, mercantiles and things like that. They would bundle this Sweet Annie and hang it in their shops and stores as a natural air freshener. And so I have just put my Sweet Annie in a hanging basket. Okay. And I had to tie on a little string of twine to get it to hang the right height or length for me. I've used it for different things. So I have two different hangers here. I have a long one, I have a short one, and then I could also just use the actual basket hanger itself if I wanted to. But I just tucked it in right there. And if you wanted to, you could add a fabric wrap on your basket or a bow, whatever. So far, I've kept it simple for now. And I'm just hanging that right there on that peg. And that just kind of fills in that space pretty nicely, except for there looks like there's a bare spot in the middle of that wreath. Charcoal and newspapers also work, yes, for getting rid of odors. That's right. If you purchase a cabinet that kind of has an odor, baking soda and charcoal is a great thing to use as well. And setting it out in the sun will also kind of help too. All right. This one, let's see. I had pulled this out of some things that we had packed away, and I haven't spruced it up yet, but we made this a couple of years ago as well using a Dollar Tree piece of wood. Made a little candle pocket. I did have some Sweet Annie stuff down and some pipberry stuff down in there, but this is one of those little battery operated little taper candles. For now, it needs to be touched up and jazzed up. I need to touch it up, but for now, I know I'll do that at some point, but for now, I just like to hang it kind of right there in the center of that wreath. It kind of gives a little bit of something in that empty space for now. And I'll probably change that out at some point, but like I said, it works for now. It gives me a little bit of something in that center there. It smells really bad, really? Well, it might be kind of like one of those things, like cilantro. Like some people you love it or you hate it kind of things. Maybe you don't like the smell of it. I love the smell of it. But I could see where the smell might not be as interesting for some as others. But that's that space right there. That's finished. That is finished. And so, then I scoot Mr. Pongo's bed back under there. I'm hopefully going to be making a primitive cover to go over his bed so that it kind of hides his little space. But that's that side. Now let's go to the other side because we have 9 minutes. We're going to finish this side and we'll be done. Can you believe we've been on here for almost an hour and a half decorating? You all, decorating makes my heart so happy. And when I can share the things that I decorate with others, that makes my heart even happier. Sweet Annie, I get them I usually shop on Etsy. There are different shop sellers on Etsy that has Sweet Annie. Okay. Your son is allergic to sweet. Really, Mary? Oh my. Okay, I'm trying to get my camera situated so that you all can see this side over here. Now this side over here isn't going to be quite, well, I guess it will be. Oh, I forgot something else. Hang on, let me grab it. I forgot to show you how I was going to decorate the sides of these cabinets, but while I've got my camera angled this side, I'll show you real quick. Again, something that we've made. So I don't make things and just like to give you ideas. When I make things, I'm usually pretty intentional about making sure that it's something that I know that I can use in my home and that you can too, if you like this style decorating. Okay. Now, I know when I made this, some of you all were like, what in the world is she thinking? I made something that looks like, you know, a country ham. You know, you see these hanging like when you go to places like Cracker Barrel or like used to, you would buy a whole country ham in the grocery. And so I recreated that. And for a while, I had it hanging on a shelf that I had stretched across this whole wall. But when we moved this cabinet in here, I thought, oh, this is going to be perfect. So I have a little hanger hook right here, and I hang it on the side, and it just hangs off to the side right here. And then I will decorate this other side up a little bit more, so you'll see what that's going to look like here in a minute. Okay. Rug beaters. Vintage rug beaters. How many of you have some of these things and you're thinking, I love these things, but I have a hard time finding a place for them? This worked perfect because I could hang it. There is a rusty hook on the side of this cabinet. Let me tilt my camera up. Can't get enough of the Sweet Annie. I can't either. I love it. I just love the smell of it. And I'm just hanging it right here on the side of my cabinet. Okay. Now you can't see it from your angle, but from the side, it's really, really sweet. And my mom made me one of these little prairie bonnets it's been a long time, probably 13 years ago, she made me one of these primitive prairie bonnets. How sweet is that? And kind of ties in with the little prairie doll that we have sitting here too. So I just hang this, right on top of that rug beater, right there on the side, right there. You hang your cast iron. Yes, Mary Lee, that's a great idea. Okay, real quick, I've got 3 vintage Jell-O molds that I like to hang over here on the side of the wall, and I'm hoping you all will be able to see these. But these vintage Jell-O molds, they usually have a little hook at the top of those. Oh, Linda, well, my bathrooms, I don't usually decorate my bathrooms primitive style. So I have repainted and slightly decorated my bathroom, our main bathroom, but they are going to be undergoing some renovation. So it'll be a while before I can really get them decorated the way I want them to. But I like hanging these in a collection. So if you collect items, think of how you can use them in decor on your wall in a set. Okay. So I have 3 of these. Okay. I have a heart. I have this one, and then I have a little bunt pin, and I just hang these. It looks a little different from where you're angled, but I hang those in a series of 3. Let me tilt my camera over here. There we go. I hang those right kind of in a row right there. Now from a distance they look a lot better. Right there, it's up close, it's like woo. And of course I have the right lights on too, so that doesn't help as much. All right, let's tilt that camera right back over because I've got something else that we created. You all remember, I don't know, if you're new here, you may not remember because you didn't see it. We use, yes, I do, Dawn. I do. I leave these pieces up and just change out the pieces on them. We made this vintage inspired spoon rack box. Now I have one that has been created by someone else that I paid lots of money for. I created this one out of elements from Walmart, Hobby Lobby, Dollar Tree, and then a couple of, even these were Dollar Tree wooden spoons. Now, a few of these pieces in here that I've tucked in here are things that I have picked up along the way. But would you ever think that came from Walmart and Dollar Tree pieces? So I have a little monkey hook right here. If you all aren't familiar with monkey hooks, if you don't have a stud in your wall where you want something hung, a monkey hook is the best thing in the world, and it will hold a good amount of weight very securely right there. There we go. Hopefully I have that. And then I need some other little pieces to kind of hang at the top or at the bottom, but for now I'll show you what I've been doing. I've been using, where'd it go, this Rusty Star, and I've just been setting it right on top of this, honestly, because if I hang it on the wall above it, it's too high. But I've just kind of, oh gosh, that looks crooked from your all's angle. There we go. It's not crooked, I promise. But I hung that there. Okay, it's until our next creator comes back on, but let me spin you right back over here because I forgot to decorate this side of the cabinet. Vintage grain sacks or coffee sacks or anything like that are a great thing. And I have one of these that I have had for a couple years and kept thinking, where am I going to put it? Where am I going to put it? Look at that. This is just a vintage corn sack. Yeah, corn sack from Illinois. I had bought it from my friend Chastity at Custom Southern Co. Several years ago. So I've just rolled over the edge and taking that little rolled over edge, gonna hang it. There was not a hanger on this side, but I just put a little bitty nail on the side of that cabinet and then just drape that right there on the side. And that's it. That is it. Now, I do have my little pumpkin that I'm wanting to hang, and I'm thinking I probably might hang it with like some little one of those little Velcro little Scotch hooks. I'm thinking I might put it right there for now, and I can take it off whenever time comes, when falls over or whatever. But now I do have a basket that I kind of set on the corner down here to kind of hide my cords. Sometimes I have a nail barrel that I put over here to hide the cords on this side, but I usually always make sure that the cords are good and hidden. But I hope that you all enjoyed this today. And I didn't even get to do some of the crafting that I thought we might get to today, but this was so much fun. I loved it. And so I hope you did too. You love the pumpkin there, Paula? Thank you so much for joining me today. Listen, tomorrow is our very first Craft 30 Market Day over in the Craft on the Clock group. I would love it if you all would show up and turn into that, because I really do think that you will enjoy it. We have 22 amazing creatives, artists, designers, crafters that will be having their items available for you. Start shopping early for the holidays. You won't want to miss it. Thank you so much for joining me today, and I hope you enjoy the rest of your week and weekend, and I hope to be here with you Saturday morning at 8 a.m. on Facebook. The replays are always available on YouTube as well. Thanks so much for joining me, and I'll see you again soon.